Dr. Reddy is the top Nifty loser, down nearly 5% after Canadian drug regulator issues a non-compliance notice for semaglutide injections. The company, however, says it expects 12 million injection pens to be absorbed by the other countries, if not the Canadian market.
BHL rallies on healthy second quarter where margins expand sharply and execution improves. The order book also is higher by nearly 40% on a year-on-year basis. This is the order backlog.
L&T's second quarter numbers miss estimates, but the stock is a top Nifty gainer following very strong guidance. In fact, order inflow is up nearly 40% in the first half. Management expects it to beat the 10% guidance which was given at the start of this year.
Vodafone Idea slumps over 10% as the Supreme Court creates the uncertainty over quantum of relief possible on the company's AGR dues. Analysts say the company faces fundamental challenges even if there is a full AGR relief, given they have spectrum debt.
Hello and welcome. You're watching us here on Chartbusters on CNBC TV18. We come to you live from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studio. I'm Mangalam Malu, with me Vinny Motiwala. We're looking at a bit of a downtick today after a good gain that we saw in yesterday's trading session. But if you had to, take some heart from the fact that the Nifty has held its support at around the 25,900 mark, would be important. The mid-cap index isn't falling as much as the broader, as the large caps. And we do have the Nifty Bank, which was a slight underperformer yesterday, but is a bit of an outperformer today by virtue of not falling as much. So it's down, but not out.
Down but not out. I think you're mentioning 25,900, right? That's the important support level. We'll watch out for that, because every time it touches 26,000, then we see a bit of a fall coming in. So key to watch out over there in terms of where the support comes in. Let's look at Nifty IT as well. That's down 0.6% in today's trading session. Apart from that, the advance decline ratio today, that's in the favor of declines versus advances. So keep an eye out on that. The broader end of the market, Nifty mid-cap down 0.1%, small-cap down 0.3% as well. So that'll be key to watch out for where the broader end of the market is moving. But a lot of individual movers that are there in today's trading session, and that's on the back of their earnings or news flow base. So that'll be something that we'll be watching out for. Sagility, Capri Global, BPCL are some of these broader end of the names that are holding on to very strong gains in today's trading session. While among the losers, we do have Premier Energies, V-Guard, BLS International that are seeing some bit of a pressure. But let's welcome on board Sachithanand Dutekar of Trade Bull for a technical check on the market. Sachi, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. 25,900, important support that comes in there as well. What are you watching out for in terms of the levels for Nifty as well as Nifty Bank?
Good morning, Vinny. Good morning, Mangalam. Clearly, I think Nifty is still, holding above its 5-day exponential moving average support. So I think that particular support is very critical. It is placed somewhere close to around 25,910, and I think a closing above the same would be, very critical. In case if we see a closing below this particular level, then probably we may see a deeper, correction hitting the market, and we may see the Nifty again swinging back towards that 25,650 kind of a zone. So I think it's a very tricky situation. On the higher side, we still don't have evidence of a strong breakout above the 26,000 mark. So I think 26,050 would be the breakout level wherein again one should start chasing breakout momentum. So as of now, I think it's a decent trade setup wherein buy on declines strategy has been fruitful. So as of now, when you look at Nifty itself, it is trending near that critical support. Again, it's a good opportunity to create some long positions. One can keep a stop loss somewhere close to around 2880 on a closing basis, and wait for a jump towards 26,000, 26,050 levels. When we look at Nifty Bank, it looks more stronger compared to Nifty. But if you look at the key support levels, 58,200, 260 has been a decent, demand zone, and we have seen some reaction points in the past from this particular level. But on the higher side, we need a very strong closing about that 58,450, 500 zone. So I think this particular oscillation within the range may continue, but as of now, there's a good opportunity for the Nifty wherein some intraday long positions can be initiated.
All right, you are suggesting an intraday long position. If you could suggest a stop loss for both the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank, along with your stock pick, Sachi?
Good morning, Mangalam. For Nifty Bank, the stop loss should be placed at around 58,060 levels. When it comes to Nifty, the critical level would be around 25,880 on a closing basis. When we look at stock setups, there are two stock ideas which are looking, on which are positive for the market, which are looking positive for the market. The first one is Glenmark Pharma. This particular trading idea is something that we have recommended to our clients as well. What we are observing here is that the stock has completed its zigzag correction, which started in the month of July, somewhere close to 2,300. And in the last couple of trading sessions, it has started trending above its 5-day exponential moving average. It has, in fact, displayed a closing yesterday above the same. The RSI has already given a breakout, and we are seeing that there could be a good strong momentum play unfolding in this particular counter. So hence we are recommending building long positions here, keeping a stop loss at 1822 on closing basis. We are expecting a move towards 1890, where its 20-day exponential moving average is placed. Positional target is placed around 1935, where its 50-day exponential moving average is placed. So a long call on Glenmark Pharma. The other stock on our radar is Geo Finance. Now, we have seen some healthy consolidation within this particular range of 310 to 300. But if you look at the last two trading sessions, we have already seen a good strong gap up opening yesterday, which has been maintained. The RSI has started trending above that 50 mark, which is again a good sign of trend strength. And we are expecting that this particular stock may extend its rally towards 320 in a day or so. And hence we are recommending building fresh long positions here, keeping a stop loss at around 308 on closing basis.
All right, take that point. Thanks a lot for that, Sachi. It's now also time to highlight our Super Pro chart of the day, which is powered by Money Control Super Pro, a segment where we turn data into direction. Each day we pick up one chart that sums up the story that's driving and the markets. In fact, let's help you understand the why behind the what. Today's chart is this, and this is what it means. It's Shipping Corporation of India, the stock which you can see on your screen, an inverted head and shoulder pattern and a bullish breakout thereafter, after a big candle that we can see on the way. In fact, as you see, the inverted head and shoulder pattern confirms the bullish breakout above the neckline, indicating a reversal from downtrend into an uptrend with strong buying momentum and potential upside continuation ahead. And if you'd like to access more data-driven, expert-driven insights and actionable chart patterns like this, simply scan the QR code which is there for you on the screen. Subscribe to Money Control Super Pro Plus. And this festive season, there is more reason to celebrate. 10 lucky subscribers every day will get 1 gram of gold. So don't wait, scan, subscribe, and make your portfolio shine brighter with Super Pro. Take that break, come back. On the other side, we have the management of Transport Corp. Welcome back. The Nifty now down 130 points. Not much of a change from where we started earlier, but Orkla IPO, there is an update coming in, fully subscribed on day 2. Remember, the owner of Eastern Condiments and MTR, nearly 2/3 of their revenue comes in from spices. But speaking about numbers, let's get in the management of Transport Corp of India. Vineet Agarwal, who's the MD, who joins in after what was a fairly steady quarter. I mean, you had a 7.5% revenue growth, 8% EBITDA growth, and margins were pretty stable at that 10.5% mark as well. Thanks a lot, Mr. Agarwal, for joining in. First half, your revenue was up 8%. When we started the year and after the first quarter, your annual guidance was 10 to 12%. Second half, seasonally and, is usually stronger. So even if you up your growth rate, I just wanted to understand whether you end this year with 10% growth or 12% revenue growth, because the first half has been 8%.
Yeah. Hi, Mangalam. It's the second half is always the best 2 quarters of the year for us. Also, I think December end is when MNCs are closing their books, and March end is when Indian companies are closing their books. So there is always a thrust towards more sales and more push towards volumes. So we do expect that this will pick up. And, the range is 10 to 12% because there is a lot of changes that keep coming up from whether it is from a macro perspective or a micro perspective. When GST was announced, the changes in GST was announced, the flip that happened in the end of September was huge. So that and going on in till Diwali, things were quite hot in terms of movements. But some of this has to keep playing out for the volumes to come up. So I cannot give you exactly whether it's 10 or 12%, but definitely in that range is where we should end for the year. That's on the top line. On the bottom line, we are looking at the same numbers also. So there's no change in our projections.
Right, Mr. Agarwal, good morning. This is Vinny joining in the conversation. Just want to understand your LTL as well as FTL mix. What is that in Q2, given that LTL normally is higher margin? So just want to understand that.
Yes, in our freight business, we have two areas that we work in. One is the full truckload, which is essentially a full truck moving from one customer to the other. The other is less than truckload, which essentially is moving smaller packages, whether it is essentially but a higher dimension. So it is not very small express kind of packages, but larger, maybe 300 kilos, 500 kilos, or some things like that. That move through a hub and spoke system, not necessarily direct from customer's doorstep to the other customer's doorstep. So these are two businesses. The LTL business is typically double the margin, operating margin of a FTL business. And it is a business of network. So if you have branches, which is what we have, about close to 750 branches in the freight business, that helps us to generate more volume across the system. There are also customers who give both kind of volumes. But more on the MSMEs is that generate the LTL business.
So what we wanted to understand is how much was LTL as a composition of your overall business? Because I remember at the end of the first quarter, it was close to 36%. You had expected it to be 50% by the end of this year. All of this would mean that your margins would be positively impacted. So where did that number stand and where are you on those projections?
The 50% was not end of this year, but end of FY27.
Okay.
Because it's a slow and steady growth. We have moved from 36% to 38%. And our end of year FY26 goal is to get to about 42%, and then shift to 50% over the next year and a half from now. So yes, and that will definitely impact the freight business margins positively. Right now, the sentiments have improved quite a lot because of the GST impact, but it has to still translate to business for MSMEs.
Okay, still has to translate. So right now the number is what? 42% will be by the end of FY26, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And right now is currently what's the contribution?
38%.
38%. Okay. And what about your CV margins, right? That has suddenly seen a very good spike up. 37%, I believe. 37.5% is the EBIT margins this time. So what has led to that, given that your target was somewhere between 28 to 29%? What has led to this amazing margins? And do you think this is sustainable through the rest of the year?
The CVS business continues to surprise us. We had one ship that went for, out of the 6 ships that we own, one ship went for a dry dock, and hence we had lesser voyages also. But the bunker prices, which is the fuel prices, actually came down, and that helped us to get better margins. The freight rates we operate only on the domestic sector on the East Coast as well as the West Coast. And the freight rates are stable. They have not really gone down too much or gone up. But the fuel prices have come down. So that has helped us in terms of margins. We've also been trying to push more volume through the system. Of course, there's a limitation in terms of capacity. We run at full capacity on all our ships that are operational. So yes, and also all our ships are depreciated. They are old, but they are all depreciated. You also must be aware that we have placed an order for two brand new ships that are going to come in next year and add to our capacity.
So, do you have any early projections for next year when it comes to margins and overall revenue growth?
Not yet, because these ships will come maybe about a year from now, September, October, and they are not off. They are about 7,500 deadweight ton each. And once they are delivered, then we'll start the operation. So it'll take 2-3 months for them to stabilize. So it is the reflection of some of that will come only in FY27, maybe towards the end of FY27.
Got that point. Thank you, Vineet, for joining in. Wish you good luck for the second half of this year, which promises to be a lot better than the first half seasonally. And, 10 to 12% revenue and profit growth is what we are guiding for. Obviously, for another conversation when we'll talk about all the other parts of your business, including the likes of cold chain, etc. We'll take a short break on that note. On the other side, we'll get you US President Trump's comments after meeting with China's Xi Jinping. Much awaited. Stay tuned for that.
Welcome back to Chartbusters on CNBC TV18. Nifty is where it is, 25,930 levels. But let's move on and listen into what we are seeing from US President Donald Trump. We had a lot of comments. He met with, Xi Jinping of China, and both the leaders had a lot of commentary that came in as well. So that is key that we're keeping an eye out on in terms of commentary. And, post the conclusion of the meeting with Xi Jinping, listen into what he had to say.
I thought it was an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country, China. And what can I say? We have, it was an outstanding group of decisions, I think, that was made. A lot of decisions were made, too. There wasn't too much left out there. And we've come to conclusion on many very important points. And we'll be handing that to you in a little while. We have it because there was a lot of different things, many of them very important. We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture. And many other things like that. On fentanyl, we agreed that he was going to work very hard to stop the flow. It's a very complex subject because it's used for lots of different reasons, including anesthetics and things. But he's going to work very hard on it, precursors, and I think you're going to see some real action taken. I've agreed, as you know, I put a 20% tariff on China because of the fentanyl coming in, which is it's a big tariff. And based on his statements today, I reduced it by 10%, so it's 10% instead of 20%, effective immediately. I believe he's going to work very hard to stop the death that's coming in. But again, it's complex because of what fentanyl is, what the precursors do. So I think you're going to see a big difference. We've had discussions on many of the elements that you're talking about all the time. You're asking me questions, and most of those things were I think agreed to for the most part. Then we agreed to almost everything at a very acceptable form. I wouldn't say everything was discussed because of the things that probably, in retrospect, we could have discussed that we did for some reason didn't come up.
Did he agree? Did you agree to sell any more downstream
chips? We did discuss chips, and they're going to be talking to NVIDIA and others about taking chips. If we make great chips, and NVIDIA is the leader. And I'll be speaking to Jensen from NVIDIA, but they're going to be discussing that with NVIDIA to see whether or not they can do. I said that's really between you and NVIDIA, but we're sort of the arbitrator or the referee. It's a little rough up here. The skies are a little rough.
What are the major stumbling blocks that are left now to work through, and how soon do you think you could sign a trade deal with China?
Well, I think pretty soon. We have not too many major stumbling blocks. We have a deal. Now, every year we'll renegotiate the deal, but I think the deal will go on for a long time, long beyond the year. We'll negotiate at the end of the year, but all of the rare earth has been settled, and that's for the world. I mean, worldwide. I guess you could really say this was a worldwide situation, not just the U.S. situation. So we continue to produce the rare earths and buy the rare earths and everything else, when you see from other countries. But China is, that whole situation, that roadblock is gone now. There's no roadblock at all on rare earth. That will hopefully disappear from our vocabulary for a little while.
So is that a one-year pause on the policy they announced?
It's 1 year. It's a 1 year agreement, and we'll extend it after a year, like we do. It's a 1 year deal. that will, I think, be very routinely extended as time goes by.
Clear, they're not going to impose the rare controls that they proposed. President Trump and President Xi came to an understanding that's it.
What will your new tariff rate on China's goods be once you sign?
Other than what there's the tariffs remain exactly the same.
55%.
It's about now it was 57, now it's 47. Because we reduced it by the fentanyl.
So, sir, it sounds like you might be going to China then after a successful.
Yeah, that's another thing we agreed. I'll be going to China in April, and he'll be coming here sometime after that, whether it's at Florida, Palm Beach, or Washington, D.C.
Okay, those were the updates that came in from Trump as well as Xi Jinping's meeting. But with that, we're absolutely out of time on this edition of Chartbusters. Thank you so much for tuning in. Up next, Trading Hour.